Welcome to Read Your Comics. Today I'm looking at What If Mickey and Friends Became the Fantastic Four? Thanks for joining me today. My name is Daryl. I'm the host of Read Your Comics. I'm really enjoying these Marvel Disney mashups, and you may remember at one point they did this variant cover for an Amazing Spider-Man. It was part of the Disney 100 celebration, and unfortunately, this is an Amazing Spider-Man book. It has this awesome, FF1 homage to it, but inside it is Amazing Spider-Man. And this is the cover that actually made me pick up all these Disney 100 variants. And I remember at the time thinking, like, man, it'd be cool if they did like a what if series where they actually took these Disney characters and made them into the Marvel superheroes. And now they're doing that. Fittingly, this is the fourth one they've done. I did a video on what if Donald became Wolverine. There's also what if Donald became Thor and Minnie became Captain Marvel. One thing I like about this one, though, better than the other ones, is they actually play on FF1 in this. So it's a shame that they already did that variant cover for Amazing Spider-Man because it would have worked perfect on this book. Before I go any further, I just want to give a quick shout out to all the viewer support. All your likes, comments, and shares are much appreciated. Comments are always encouraged. And if you're new to the channel or just haven't done so already, be sure to hit subscribe. I'll put the graphic right here. Go ahead and hit like while you're at it too, because a lot of times you watch a video and then you kind of forget to hit like. It just go auto plays to the next one. So just go ahead and hit like now. That way you don't forget. If you really hate the video, you can unlike it. It's okay. I picked up this Nick Bradshaw cover mostly because it was the only one left. I like to get the cover A. I just, in general, I like to get the covers by the interior artist if I can. That one wasn't available when I picked this up at the comic shop, but Nick Bradshaw did a great job on this cover. I think it's great composition. It still has that like Mickey Disney quality, and probably because Nick Bradshaw is more of a superhero artist, he's able to kind of pull off some of the powers a little bit better, maybe so than some of these animated artists that are traditionally working on these Disney books. So let me go ahead and jump on in. The first page is just credits. Forgive me for butchering these names. Steve Bailing, Riccardo Sesci, Lorenzo Pastrovicio. He's an Italian artist that does Disney books in Italy. I'm pretty sure that Fantagraphics produces a lot of that stuff, at least here in the States. So, they got a familiar Mickey artist to work on this, which is good. As I was saying, I love that this book plays off of FF number one. It hits all of those same like plot points as it goes along, but with some humorous gags along the way. We're going to start off with a flare being shot from the top of a building, onlookers looking at it to see what's going on. And then the team starts to assemble, starting with Minnie as the Invisible Woman, just like the other book did. But this time she's hanging out with Clarabelle. She's eating some snacks, and she sends Clarabelle to get some others, but then she sees the flare, so she turns invisible and leaves. Clarabelle saying, if you didn't want them, you could have just said that instead of just disappearing on her. We find Donald, who is the Thing. He's trying to iron his clothes. They keep getting ruined because he's made of rocks now. He sees the flare, and just like Ben Grimm, who was out on the street when it happened, he starts tearing up everything as he walks through, ripping the door off, leaving footprints in the sidewalk, making the ground tremble as he walks. Goofy also working on a car, just like Johnny Storm. He takes off and he doesn't melt the car, but he leaves the I don't know that character's name, the cow that he's working with a a hot wrench in his hand. And instead of taking on fighter jets as he goes, he's flying by the park, and there's a guy trying to light a barbecue. So Goofy helps him out by lighting his grill. And they're like, whoa, you can't just help him. You got to help everybody. So he lights everybody's grills. And this wears him out, just like in FF1. His flame starts to peter out, and Mr. Fantastic, which is Mickey in this case, has to catch him by stretching out across two buildings and bring him into the building. So great play on FF1. Then it jumps into the flashback of where they got their powers and their origin, just like FF1. Fun twist here. It's Gyro has like a secret lab on the outskirts of Duckburg, and he's going to capture some cosmic rays that are coming into Earth. I guess unbeknownst to him, there's been a traveling fair set up above his lab because I guess he just wasn't paying attention. And so he's basically going to be bringing these cosmic rays in on the fair. Mickey and friends, they hop on this ride that looks very similar to the Astro Orbiter from Disney World, and they get hit by the cosmic rays that Gyro is trying to beam in with his satellite here. And, this looks just like the panels that Jack Kirby drew of the original team getting bombarded by the cosmic rays. I guess the rays make the ride break and send it careening off over to the side of the hill into a pumpkin patch. Gyro just says, like, it didn't work. Oh well, I'll try something else later. And that's it for Gyro. We don't see him again the rest of the book. They're in Grandma Duck's pumpkin patch, and they're like, oh, we better get out of here quick. And they're like, how do we get this ship out of here? Why they feel like it's their responsibility? Who cares? It's it's a Disney book. When all of a sudden Donald lifts up the thing, and he's turned all rocky, and then they all just start getting their powers, just like an FF1. A little out of order. It started with Sue, and the other one, she disappears and turns invisible. It's funny though that Donald, he really just looks rocky. He doesn't like turn into like a full on monster, but you want him to be recognizable as Donald. Goofy, of course, turns into the Human Torch, and we get this classic panel of the team putting their hands on top of each other and calling themselves the Fantastic Four. They call each other by like their names, like the Thing, the Human Torch, and so forth. I think they missed the opportunity calling Mickey Fantastic instead of Mr. Fantastic, but they don't really call each other by their code names too much. Anyway, now they get back to why Mickey set off the flare, and there's been these earthquakes. They're sucking up like a pawn shop and stuff, and they're going to assemble into the Fantastic Four. Pretty cool splash page there. And then it goes into a Mole Man story, just like FF1. I mean, look at this panel. This is straight out of FF1. They go to take it on. Similar stuff happens here. Mickey, Mr. Fantastic, and Goofy, Human Torch fall down in a ditch where they meet the Mole Man, who in this case is Pete. And then, just like in FF1, the Mole Man gave his origin. Now Pete's going to give his origin. Of course, there's gags like, I'm glad you asked. I'm tired of telling this story to my subjects. If only he knew how tired we are of listening to it. A lot of good humor like that. Pete gives his story about how he was robbing a lab, which looks like Gyro's lab. And all he stole was a radio playing a song called I'm in Love with an Inventor that was playing in Gyro's scene before too. He runs into these monsters, and the music tames the monsters, which is kind of funny in itself. And because it tamed the monsters, these little guys came out. So in place of the Moloids, I don't know, these must be from some other Disney thing that I just can't place out of my head. But they're like happy that he ran off the monsters, so they make him the leader. And they're really good at doing earthquakes. We're real aces at it. And so then he gets an idea that he's going to torment all the places that used to mock him. So here he is trying to rob the pawn shop. And he's like, you recognize this? Sure thing, but it's a little dingy. I'll only give you $5 for it, or $1. I'll only give you $1 for it. Tries to rob the bank on Halloween, and they make fun of him for trick-or-treating. The restaurant won't let him in. So he gets his new little minions, who are all happy as can be, to cause earthquakes, suck up the pawn shop. Meanwhile, Minnie and Donald show up to take him on. We get some fun action here of them fighting the monsters. Couple good pages of it, actually. And of course, they beat him. Pete thinks he's going to get away, and Invisible Minnie trips him up, and down he goes. And they're like happy to be rid of Pete too. They're like, okay, we'll take him off your hands. You just no more earthquakes. And I guess they agreed because they fly away. You got the bathtub boat here and everything. Just a lot of fun. Super quick read. Would I want to read a whole series of this? I don't know. Maybe 4 issues. Play with it a little bit more. Do a Galactus story or something. But I just enjoy these. They're fun. They're entertaining. My kids love them too. Whenever they see one, they're like, oh, my kids love FF. They love Mickey. This is a lot of fun to them too. You got the character sketches here in the background. And coming up next month, we're going to get a Avengers version. And it's got Goofy Hulk in it, so I'll definitely be picking that one up. That's all I got for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, read your comics. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed my breakdown of this issue, you can support the channel by hitting subscribe. It costs you nothing and helps other comic fans find the channel. You can also visit readyourcomics.com for cool merch, like this. Read Your Comics isn't just a brand, it's a mantra. And when you wear a Read Your Comics shirt, you are helping spread the word. For more classic comics conversation, be sure to follow me on Instagram at read.your.comics. And if you're still here, why not watch one of my older videos? Here or here.